Hey guys, what's going on? John Haddock here from Think About Comics, and today I'm going to be talking about Superman Heroes Issue 1. It's a one-shot from DC. It's going to be taking place after Superman, tells his identity to the whole world, and it's written by none other than Michael Bendis. This issue is $5.99, $2 more than the regular Superman book. And to be honest with you, this book, it was a hate and love relationship for me. A lot of things I liked about this book, a lot of things I really, really hated about this book. Right when we go into it, it's broken up into a prologue, the main story, and then it has an epilogue. It's just really to break up the different stories. There's 4 different stories that just show how the world, well, not just the world, the people that are closest to Superman are taking him coming out and saying, "Hey, I'm actually Clark Kent." The first story in the prologue is basically, it's the same old stuff that we're getting with him and Martha and Jonathan Kent, of just, hey, I'm Superman, I have all these powers and stuff, I can't use them, I can't stick up for myself, I just have to roll with the punches and stuff. Same old stuff that we've seen over and over again. Nothing new. Now here's something I did like about this book. This is the day before he comes out and says he is Clark. He has a really cool dialogue with Lois Lane about, how is this going to affect our marriage, what's going on about it, and we get to see them come back as being a couple. When Rebirth first started, one of the big things I liked about Superman that Bendis kind of destroyed was the Superman family aspect. You had Lois and Clark teaming up with their son, and they were doing their own stuff, and it was a good read. It was a fun family Superman-esque book. And it felt like we had some progression with the Man of Steel. We no longer were seeing this, him and Lois dynamic. We were seeing him and Lois and Jonathan Kent, their son, in this, family setting in Smallville, and they're going back and forth to Metropolis. It was really, really cool. And to me, what elevates this relationship in this story is that, previously in the Superman story, Lex Luthor approaches Lois Lane with a lockbox, and she doesn't tell Superman at first. And here, she levels with him and says, hey, look, we gotta, everything has to be open since you're telling your secret. I'm going to be telling mine, which is kind of stupid because she's already known that he was Superman. This is Lex Luthor showing you something. You should have probably already told them. But, nevertheless, I think that's a great step for this relationship. Maybe we can get back onto the Superman family being rebuilt. Probably not, but, you got to have hope. Next is a story that I really didn't care about. It's Superman being at the Hall of Justice with a bunch of heroes who really I just don't care about, and I don't really care how they reflect on him coming out as Superman. I mean, there's characters that why are they even here? Like we have John Constantine and Swamp Thing. Who cares? Like John Constantine has made it a big deal of not being a part of the costume guys. And the fact that he's left and he went with Neil Gaiman's, Sandman universe, which is fantastic. Why is he here? Like, we have Plastic Man, Mr. Terrific. Who cares? The new Green Lantern, Jessica, and she's written so much to where the whole, she suffers from depression, which I get, but it's just so much in your face. Like, everything she does, it's like she can't break out of her mold, but yet she has a Green Lantern ring, which, is kind of like, hey, look, I don't have any fear. I can beat my fear and move on from that. And I just feel like that character hasn't progressed at all from the first time that we've seen her. And that's really all this story is. They're all complaining, and then we see Booster Gold kind of, yelling, hey, look, he is Clark Kent, because obviously he's from the future. He already knew, and he just reassures Superman that, hey, I think you're doing the right thing. But the best story for me was the 2 characters of the Justice League that I actually care about what their opinion is. I think they're the ones that are going to be most effective. It's Bruce Wayne and Diana, Wonder Woman. And we get to see Bruce, just more, he's at his parents' grave, and the art in this story over here is fantastic. It's just very eerie. There's a lot of shadows on their faces and stuff, and it really captures, what Batman is. He's this angry, brooding individual. And, Diana comes to talk to him about what he thinks about it. And obviously, Bruce isn't the happiest guy about it. He's just very moody about it. And she accuses him of being jealous. And he kind of hides the fact that maybe he is jealous. He's always wanted to have a family and stuff. And Clark has had those things. And now he's put them in jeopardy. You know, he lost his family. It's not because he put them in jeopardy. It was just the victim of circumstance. And now Clark is putting his family in danger, and that's what Superman's really mad about. But this is what I was talking about, like him and Diana are in the cave, and you can see how the shadows are hitting their face, and it really, really works well. And I think that this is some of the best art in this book. Just period. I think it's really cool. It works with what the tone of that conversation and the dialogue between those characters, you know, represents. And then next we have a dumb story where Superman goes back to Smallville and he meets one of his teachers from high school, and he kind of tells him, hey, look, I never cheated on any of my tests. And the teacher's pretty much like, yeah, I know, because you always got back up, you know, when you were getting bullied and stuff, and you rolled with the punches. And it's just like, why is this even here? Like, this, nobody cares. This doesn't add to the story at all. Like, it just makes Superman just seem like, you know, oh, here he is, you know, he's perfect. He can't do anything wrong. You know, I was hoping that this identity thing was going to level Superman and make him more relatable. And I feel like with these stories, they haven't done that at all. They haven't shifted that storytelling to it, and they've kind of maintained him on this higher pedestal, which I think was a missed opportunity. And then here we have something that's interesting that I would like to see in the main Superman series is we have all these people writing letters to Superman, and they're basically saying, hey, look, you know, I'm in trouble. I need help, because now they actually have a way of reaching him by writing to Clark Kent. And Lois Lane actually has all these piles sorted through hate mail, fan mail, and people who need help, which I thought was really, really cool. And I hope that's something that the Superman series or actually comics expands on. But one of the next story is we see his relationship with Jimmy Olsen, because he didn't tell Jimmy, and Jimmy's always been his friend. And the art in this is just really, really cool. I love how Superman looks just in it. And the dialogue isn't really something that's, you know, groundbreaking. Jimmy's like, hey, I'm cool with it. I've kind of always known just on how you talk to me. Nothing new, but we get a really, really cool splash page, which I thought is just badass. Like, that is just such a cool page. You got Superman flying Jimmy, and the colors and the contrast really just work well with what this story, what this part of the issue was telling. I really like the splash page. And then in the end, of course, we get, you know, the epilogue, which is just, you know, Lois has deciphered the black box, and the woman who took over the Daily Planet is evil. Go figure. And, you know, he's trying to figure out Lex Luthor's game in all of this. And, of course, we get another one-shot, Superman Villains. My overall feeling of this book was it definitely had its ups and downs. I don't feel like this book was needed. This wasn't something I was asking for. This wasn't something, you know, I was drooling at the mouth to get my hands on, but we got it anyway. And the fact that, you know, nothing is really relevant besides that epilogue where we get to find out that, you know, this woman that we've kind of already thought was evil is actually evil. It's not really worth picking up. And just the fact that they added $2 more to a book that really hasn't lived up to any of the hype, any of the expectations, is to me, I feel, is a slap in the face of Superman fans. I feel like this should have been maybe like a free comic book day giveaway. This could have been maybe like a $2.99 book, just to get someone to pick up a Superman book to read, to get back on the bus, because a lot of guys have dropped off Superman. You know, I'm a diehard Superman fan. I don't think I'll ever drop Superman, ever, no matter how bad it gets. But there's a lot of people out there that aren't reading the Man of Steel, and, you know, when they're doing stuff like this, it's hard to argue with them. I mean, I definitely, you know, if I wasn't a diehard, I would have dropped this book. But I mean, that's really all I have on Superman Heroes. You know, please give a like, give us a subscribe. You know, that helps us reach, you know, more viewers, and, you know, gets our content out there. Definitely hit me up in the comments section. I do a really good job of trying, at least I do, I think, of getting back to you guys. You know, I love the conversations we have. I love your opinions. You know, if you completely hated this book, you know, let me know. I'll definitely hit you up. You know, thanks, guys. Support your local comic book shop, and check out my other videos.